Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is we again from group 3 that want to present an article called Towards a Set of Design Principles for Developing Oral Presentation Competence, a synthesis of research in higher education by Stefan Ginkel, Judith Gulikers, Harm Bumans, and Martin Mulder 2015. And I feel sorry if I spell their name by mistake. First of all, let us introduce ourselves again. My name is Farhan Fuadi and I am from English Department 2019.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Dita Estiana. I'm from Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. My major is English Department.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yudis Prandikta. You can call me Yudis. I'm from Faculty of Teaching Training and Education. My major is English Department.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Riksan Kurniawan Hidayat and I'm from English Education, and I will present about the conclusion.
So, what is the reason the authors conduct this study? Their reason want to introduce what oral presentation competencies is and developing it with synthesize these fragmented studies into a set of design principles for higher education that 1. Address the instruction learning and assessment side of the learning environment, 2. Directly relate learning environment characteristic to oral presentation competencies or components, therefore 3. Provide conceptual and empirical argument for effective operationalization of this learning environment characteristic by adopting a systematic approach. This set of principles offers a comprehensive but a concrete perspective for the design of education courses.
So I have point of oral presentation competence. The first is defining oral presentation competence. Define oral presentation competence as the combination of knowledge, skill, and attitude need to speak in public in order to inform, self-express, to relate, and to persuade, which is consistent with the conceptualization of the construct of oral presentation competence. Thus, an important notion considering the concept of oral presentation competence is the interrelatedness of cognitive. Student performance can be enhanced or inhibited by any one or all of these competence. For example, improving student knowledge about communication might improve their ability to communicate, which in turn might increase their willingness to communicate. And then the second is oral presentation competence in higher education. Oral presentation course in higher education should therefore address the various components of oral presentation competence. Oral presentation competence in higher education, being able to present, is a complex skill. However, the equation of oral presentation competence has become increased essential for a wide range of disciplines within the academic field, such as biology, business, communication, engineering, and health. A number of studies have examined the provision of academic skill intervention at tertiary level and have demonstrated that learners often lack the competition required of success after their education program. Also, with respect to oral presentation competence, several studies emphasizes that accounting, business, medical, and technical professionals have often not reached the required level for practice after the completion of their education. And then the last is developing oral presentation competence. Previous studies demonstrate an incomplete and fragmented picture of the relationship between characteristics of the learning environment and studies oral presentation performance. Bauer et al., as well as Brown and Morrissey, claim that there is a little pedagogical design focus on developing students' communication competence, and there is hardly any philosophy underpinning it. Besides, central concepts such as behavior modeling and feedback, additional concepts are needed to describe the impact of didactical intervention. Okay guys, I think that's it for me, and thank you.
So in this video, I'm gonna tell you about 7 design principles for developing oral presentation competence. So the first is about instruction. So there are 2 points of instruction. So the first point is you have to make sure that learning objective can make the students are being able to formulate it in relation to criteria of oral presentation, and to make the student can increase self-efficacy beliefs and make a good oral presentation competence. So the second point is you have to speak up or speak louder to make the oral presentation competence, and you have to be self-efficacy beliefs, because if you can be confident in your oral presentation, it means you can make the audience understand, you can get the best result when you make the oral presentation competence. And you have to make sure that the learning tag and the presentation assignment is related to content of particular discipline as relevant by students, and the student perceive the context of the text as authentic. So the second is about learning objectives. So there are 2 points of learning objectives. The first point is actually students require experts to increase self-efficacy beliefs and make the oral presentation competence, and to provide opportunities for students to observe models of peers. When the students has a expert to increase self-efficacy, it means they can absolutely understand and develop themselves to make the oral presentation and to improve their self-efficacy beliefs. So the second point is you gotta provide opportunities for students to practice their oral presentation in order to develop their oral presentation competence. If the students can practice their oral presentation, it means they can speak up, then they can improve their oral presentation competence. So the third is assessment strategy. So there are 3 points of assessment strategy. So the first point is ensure that feedback is explicit, contextual, adequately timed, and of suitable intensity in order to improve students the oral presentation competence. And the second point is encourage the involvement of peers in formative assessment process. And so it means that you can give the students and it means that the students can develop the oral presentation competence and they can stay in character towards presenting. When you can encourage the involvement of peers or students, it means they can learn more and they want to practice of the oral presentation competence. And the third point is facilitate self-assessment using slide video or portfolios to encourage students' self-efficacy beliefs, oral presentation competence, and attitude towards presenting. If you can give all the facilities for the students, it means they can express themselves or they can improve their presentation and they can speak up and they can be confident when you give all the facility for the students. So that's all for me. I'm sorry if I have any mistakes. So the last I said, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Concluding remarks. Based on this review, the set of design principles offers opportunities for an effective and efficient design for developing oral presentation competence. And also, all 7 design principles should be included in learning environment for oral presentation competence. Limitation. Besides the 7 selected learning environment characteristics, for further exploration in this results section, other characteristics exist that also influence oral presentation performance. Direction for future research. This review makes a plea for a comprehensive and perspective on designing learning environments for fostering oral presentation. And direction for future studies can be formulated directed to the learning setting of the learning environments. So that's all the presentation from our group. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.